My father taught me as a small child that to understand any issue, any problem, any crisis, you had to stand on top of the world and look down. Any good journalist going into a conflict or a crisis should not go in with a supposition or a preconceived story. The whole challenge of good journalism is to find out what the story is on the ground. The danger is if you go in with a preconception that you then look for people to support it. So the real challenges in journalism today is letting the story direct you. And it's one of the reasons that in many conflicts I've gone to the other side. That's always a challenge, more challenging than embedding with American troops, often more uncomfortable, often more dangerous, but always much more interesting. The Arab Spring in 2011 was an historic turning point for the region, and it happened for a variety of reasons that will endure even if the Arab Spring didn't. For the first time, you had the majority of the people across the region, with a couple of exceptions, in 23 nations, who were literate. Being able to read and write took them beyond their neighborhoods, their villages, their towns, even their countries, to understand global change and what their rights are in the 21st century. It shattered the myth of there being one truth, one way, one religion, one idea that was the right way. Now, people know what they were against. It's going to take another generation or two, perhaps even longer, before people have the resources, the political parties, the maturity to know how to create alternatives, to be able to run for office and say, okay, we don't want autocracy. What is it that we can provide our people? How do we change the social contract and the state's obligations to its citizens? And when you look at our own history, it took us 100 years after our founding. Then we went into a civil war over the issue of slavery. It took another century till we actually had a Voting Rights Act that provided voting guarantees to African Americans. How long it took for women to get the vote. That, we are still not a perfect, flawless democracy, and we can't expect other countries to be like a light switch where they go from off to on, from autocracy to democracy with a flick of a switch.